guys, it's Nick, your average girl, and I'm really excited to be back making some content and videos for this channel. I've obviously haven't posted in a long time, but I decided that I really wanted to give you guys some value as far as finances go and dealing with money and whatnot. So you're gonna see a lot more videos like this, as well as episodes of my podcast, Your Average Girl Talk, so make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, and if you get some value out of this video, definitely make sure you like it, save it to your watch later, and things of that nature. But you guys already saw the title, so I'm going to show you guys today how to save money and really effortlessly. This is something that I've been doing for years now, and it's really easy for me to keep up with. It's one of those strategies you just got to be a little consistent with it, but that's like anything in life. So there's that. I'm not a financial advisor at all. I just figured I would share some tips and tricks that I use myself, and if you guys like them, try to implement them and see how it works for you. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you have a place or a space to put those savings aside. For me, I prefer just making a savings account within my regular US bank account. Pretty much you could make a savings account with any banking whatever that you use. So I just like to do that because it's not easily accessible. I have to go in there and manually transfer money, and that's just not very convenient. So wherever you decide to put it or whatever works for you, make sure it's not something you have easy access to, because then it's going to be harder to not touch it. So there's that. So once you have that savings account or a place where you're going to put your funds set up and set aside, all you want to do is put 10% of your income into that savings account. So I do that with every single piece of payment that I get. So every check that gets deposited into my account, I immediately transfer it into that savings. And I'm going to show you guys some examples of how to figure that out and how much you're going to transfer or whatever. But you want to make sure that you do it immediately, so that way you don't forget. So obviously if you get paid every Friday or whatever, make it a part of your routine that every Friday morning or evening, whatever works for you, you transfer that 10% from your checking or your check or whatever into that savings account. And you just want to do this with every little bit of money that you get. So personally, I like to do it with anything that gets deposited into my account. So checks from my job, or if I do like a little side job and I get some sort of check written to me for that, I put 10% of that into my account as well. You can even do it with your cash too. So like, it just kind of depends on what your goals are and you know what you're working towards or whatever. And a lot of people have different reasons to save money. Personally, I know like before when I was moving to California, like I was putting so much money aside, pretty much just for like all my moving funds or whatever. So this technique or strategy can work for whatever savings you're trying to build, whether it be like an emergency savings or, you know, something to pay off your debt type of savings or put aside, or it's like a really big purchase you're working towards, like a car or a house or whatever. The same strategy can work for whatever you're building your savings towards. That is literally the extent of what you have to do. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and move over to my iPad and just show you guys some examples of what this might look like for you and your savings account, okay? Let's say that you get a check for, I don't know, I'm just kind of spitballing here. Let's say for $1,200 each check, right? Roughly, give or take, okay? I also recommend that you guys have some sort of like budget sheet, or you have some sort of spreadsheet where you guys can track your income and expenses. If you want a video on that, let me know, because this is gonna help determine how much money you can put aside pretty much each check. So let's say that each check you get around $1,200. So to figure out that 10% is really easy. All you have to do is, so let's say, oops, I updated my iPad and now I feel like it's kind of weird when I write on it, so ignore that, but besides the point. So let's say you make $1,200-ish a check. To find that 10%, all you have to do is just move this decimal place over. So then that's gonna leave you with $120 right there, okay? So your 10% is putting away $120 each check. So once you have your budget sheet, you kind of figure out, okay, cool, is that reasonable for me? How much money do I have left over each month? Like, what's the difference between my income and my expenses? So once you figure that out, you determine, okay, like, can I put $120 up per check? Okay, so $120 away per check, you're gonna multiply that times 2, because you'll typically get 2 checks at least a month. right? So then that's gonna leave you with putting away $240 each month, okay? You figure out, okay, you're gonna put away $240 away each month. That will give you about $2,880 per year that you're saving, okay? So all I did was multiply that $240 times 12, which makes it a year, 12 months in a year. So that's what you're potentially looking at putting away a year. So it just kind of depends on what your goals are and what you're working towards, honestly. Like, if you can put away more, I would just do that. Like, that's kind of just how I work and I function, is I put away as much money as possible that I can. So like I said, make sure that you create your budget sheet or whatever, just to track your income and your expenses to see how much you have left over each month, okay? So let's say that you do have a lot of play money, you don't have a lot of bills, you don't have a lot of expenses. So let's go back to the same example that you make about $1,200 a check, okay? Don't mind my handwriting, okay? So $1,200 a check. So depending on your goals, you can put away more than just 10%. So let's say that you want to put away 20% of that check each check. So we already know that our 10%, actually I'll do this. So we already know that our 10% was equal to $120 in this case. So all you're gonna do is multiply that by 2 to get your 20%. So then you're gonna be putting away $240 per check instead of $120. So that's how you figure that out, nice and easy. Same thing, move the decimal place over 1, that's your 10%, multiplied by 2, that's your 20%. So easy peasy. So now that we figured that out, your 20% that you would be putting away per check is going to be $240, okay? So now you know that. So we also said that you get about, well, at least 2 checks per month. So all you're gonna do is that 240 times 2 checks a month, and that's gonna give you $480 that you're now putting away each month or towards whatever you're working towards, right? So that's that. So potentially, if you put that $480 away each month times 12 months, that is going to give you about $5,760 that you are saving or putting away per year. So obviously a little bit more, okay? That's gonna get you towards your goal faster. Another example, let's say you want to put away 30%. You really don't got no bills, you're not that pressed, you can do it, which is awesome, and I would recommend putting away as much as you can. So again, same example, you make $1,200 a check-ish, give or take. And like I said, you can work this with any amount that you guys have coming in regularly. So now the same thing to figure out the 30%. All you're gonna do is at 10%, so that 120 times 3 is gonna equal your 30%, okay? So I think that's gonna give us, what, 360? I'll just use the calculator just to be sure, but 120 times 3, yes. So your 30% per check is gonna come out to be $360, okay? So that's how much you're putting away per check. 360 times 2, which is your 2 checks per month. Again, I'm really not a math whiz, so let's just use a calculator. You would be putting away $720 each month. So if you're putting away that 30% each and every check, 720 times, oops, can't talk, 720 times 12 months in the year is gonna come out to you saving $8,640-ish a year. So it's a really, really easy strategy, and this is just something that you do every single check or piece of payment that you get coming in. You can do this with checks, with your cash, whatever income you get. It's a really easy strategy, and it helps me grow my savings like effortlessly. It doesn't feel like I'm taking a big chunk of money away from myself, and it helps kind of keep me disciplined to only purchasing what I need to purchase without breaking my pockets. So it's something you're working towards, like me personally, like at the moment I'm working towards building up an emergency savings. Within the last year I had a lot of inconvenient, fees and stuff come up with my car that I had to get fixed, or, whatever the case may be. So I really recommend at least building a emergency savings account if you have nothing else you're working towards right now. I think it's always good. I use that for like my oil changes, like I said, for any other miscellaneous things, like maybe if I have to go to urgent care, you know what I'm saying, or medical bills, or any unplanned expenses that I have or might have throughout the year. I use that emergency savings that I build to work towards that. So it's a really easy strategy and technique. Leave any comments with any questions that I may not have answered, or any other things you want me to cover as far as finances go. And thank you guys for tuning in. Do not forget to subscribe, like if you got some value out of this video, leave me a comment, follow me on IG, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.